and welcome back to the Spotlight Games podcast for episode 191. I said that last week, but last week I lied. This week is episode 191. I'm your host, Patrick. Dropping in to the Spotlight Games podcast this week. You haven't seen his face around here in quite some time, but you have seen his face here before. That's Chancletamangu, aka Mando. Mando, welcome back to the show. How are we doing?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me back.
Of
Always
course.
awesome.
For those of you that don't know Mando, also the host of We Talk About Games, I don't even remember the last time you were on. I know you were here for like the top 100 games. I feel like you've been on since the top 100
I
games.
feel like I was on one more time after that.
Yeah. But tell people at home if they don't know who you are, what you do, and the games you like.
Oh, yeah. Name's Mando. I also have a podcast called We Talk About Games. I had another podcast that I had when I actually met Patrick. And it's so crazy. And this is what I was like, I'm going to save this for when we're on the show. It is insane to me. 191.
Yeah.
Like, I know I'm going to get into myself in a little bit, but I remember meeting Patrick in like a podcast 101 session with Danny. And it was my guy with a notebook. He was mad questions. He was like, I got this laptop streaming at a StreamYard.
Yeah.
And to be 191 episodes in right now is really, really awesome. I just want to say congrats for that.
Thanks,
that's like,
man. I appreciate that.
So much consistency. Like, that's years. I mean, you said it, like, you guys started this like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And having had that podcast, starting this one, I know how much work goes into it, how much work goes into being consistent. I mean, it says a lot. Like, you hit me up to be on here today because Cayman can't make it. Like, that's the effort it takes to make sure we're getting those episodes in. So shout out to you guys.
Thanks,
for that.
Man. I appreciate that.
But yeah, Mando, love video games. Favorite games: Final Fantasy VII, Zelda. Metaphor is up there now.
Whoa, in the top now. Okay.
Expedition 33 is up there. I know the other host of this show doesn't really agree with that.
No, I'm the one that doesn't really agree with that. Cayman likes Expedition 33 a lot more than me.
Okay, I felt like some of his comments didn't really make it feel that way, but
sure. Well, it was his game of the year last year, but he's all over the place. Cayman, he's a wild card.
You know what it is? He's a movie buff, man, and they're just hard to please. They're really hard to please.
That's
true.
I
get it.
That's true.
So yeah, big JRPG fan, big MMO guy. Love all kinds of video games except for horror and fighting. Those are not my lanes. Whatsoever.
Not a fighting guy either. Not me, for sure. Yeah, some lore. You kind of dipped your toe into the lore. When Spotlight Games first started back in 21, I think, it's like September 21, I was taking it was a masterclass with Danny Pena of Gamertag Radio. And that's where I met you and a few other folks that had been on the show, but I don't think any of them do content anymore. But yeah, and you were doing a show, and I'm pretty sure I've told you this before, but the podcast you were doing at the time is the podcast name I wanted to name Spotlight Games. But then we were just like Googling around, like, okay, is the save point a podcast? Fuck, it is a podcast. And then lo and behold, like, I don't know, a month later, I'm in this like podcasting class with you, and then I was like, this is the fucking guy.
This is the fucking guy who took my name. Yeah, we did talk about that.
Yeah,
man, serendipitous, man. It really says a lot.
For sure. So now, and hey, maybe I'll buy the save point off you. Who knows? But today we are going to be talking about the cancellation of Prince of Persia, RIP. We're going to be talking about Highguard's release and a bunch of other video game stuff, because this is the Spotlight Games podcast where each week we spotlight the latest and the greatest in the world of video games. You can get it by subscribing to our YouTube channel at Spotlight Games Pod, or by searching for Spotlight Games in your favorite podcast app. And hey, you can be on the show. That's right. You can be on the show by tuning in as we record live Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern time right here on twitch.tv/Spotlight Games Pod, just like Noah C92, Coalmine, Sears Shard, Heroic Headgear, Rabbit128, and many, many more. Be like them. Follow us on Twitch so that you're notified when we go live, so you can be part of the conversation. Some very quick housekeeping, because I know everyone in the chat here knows this already, but if you're listening or you're on the YouTube channel, starting in just a few days over on twitch.tv/dropin/dropout-pod, we're going to be doing an in-person 2-day live streaming event. Very, very excited for that. We're going to be doing game shows. We're going to be doing Something we've not like officially announced, but it's been hinted at, like ranking the best chicken tenders that exist by eating them and ranking them together, which I'm very excited about. We're going to be streaming with you guys. We're going to be playing Halo, Mario Kart, all sorts of fun things. So very excited for that. That starts Friday night. Oh, actually, it might even be Friday, like late afternoon. We're going to basically go live the second that we can, but the first scheduled thing is 7 p.m. Central Time, so 8 p.m. Eastern on Friday. And then also here on Spotlight Games, I've been streaming through all of the Leon Resident Evil games. Finished 2 last week, starting up for tomorrow night. The homie Blaster Goblin going to be joining for that. I have a fun story about that I will share tomorrow night about him trying to get me one of the like upgrades to make the run easier. He would try to like do that for me, and ultimately it failed. But we'll tell the full story tomorrow night. But he's going to be joining for that, starting Resident Evil 4. Around 8 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you guys there for that. But that's it for housekeeping. Mando, as a veteran Spotlight Games podcast co-host, we always start our shows here with what we've been playing. So Mando, I ask you, what have you been playing, my friend?
I've been juggling a few things. I'm hoping this year is my backlog year.
Okay.
Where I can get at least 10 games off my backlog.
Ooh, okay.
I'm currently doing a multiplayer playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3 with 3 friends.
Whoa, okay.
That's actually going swell. I know a lot of people talk about like you'll never finish that. We're actually in Act 3. We might just finish it.
You're in Act 3 already.
We're in Act 3.
You're gonna have to finish it. You can't not finish it at this point.
I will say we got to Act 3 in like November.
Okay.
And then we did back up to start the new year.
Sure.
We lost one of them to Arc Raiders.
Oh yeah, no, it takes people, man. What is that like every week you guys are trying to get through a little bit of it, or is it just like when you have the time?
I mean, when we started it, we were playing like 2-3 nights a week.
Yeah.
At least one night a week, we were definitely playing. And then once we hit Act 3, and I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, I feel like there was just like a bunch of games came out. Pokemon came out.
Yeah.
Battlefield came out. I forget what the other, Arc Raiders was at the end of that month, and definitely lost one of them. Shout out to Gabe. We lost Gabe to Arc Raiders. Gabe. And then the new year started, and I was like, guys, I really want to finish this game this year. So sometime this year.
What kind of character? I think
it's just one of those things you gotta be proactive about.
Yeah,
to try to make happen. Yeah.
What kind of character are you playing?
I'm playing a barbarian in this playthrough. My solo playthrough, I'm playing a magician, and I told myself, you know what? I never play barbarians because it's just not the play style I kind of lean into for solo. So I was like, you know what, in a multiplayer, let's do this because we already got a paladin, we already have a magician and a bard. Let me be the barbarian. Let me be the strong, high HP. And actually, it has worked out. We kind of needed a barbarian here and there.
Hell yeah.
So Baldur's Gate 3 has been cool. Ghost of Yotei, chipping away at that. Loving Ghost of Yotei. Like, holy shit, that's a good game.
It's a good game.
I am playing KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic.
Ooh, tell me more.
The first one. Never played it. I'm actually playing it on my iPhone.
No way.
I realized that they have an app for the game.
Yeah, like, I've played the iPhone version.
They ported it to the iPhone. Yeah, and it's one of the better versions because I have it on the PC, but the PC version is just it's not optimized well, and it's not great for like playing it on on my Steam Deck, for example. So once I found out about the iPhone one, I was like, all right, cool, we could chip away at it on the iPhone, and I have iCloud, so I have like multiple devices and I can use it on whatever. So it's cool, and I'm chipping away at that, and that is a good time. I see what people
your first time. This is your first time playing KOTOR.
This is my first time. Yeah, it's my first time. I've heard that it's like one of the better Star Wars stories. Really enjoying the gameplay, and chipping away at that. And then probably my favorite game that I'm playing right now is Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. I don't know if anybody, because nobody had a Wii U, so you didn't play it.
Yeah, 7 people had a Wii U.
Except for Jordan and like 2 other people. But if you have a Switch and you do not own Xenoblade Chronicles, and you like JRPGs or just open world RPGs, goodness, this game is just... No wonder this game never goes on sale. No wonder the physical edition is so hard to get your hands on. It's a gem. It is a gem. It is beautiful. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've just taken pictures or like got that 30-second screen cap from the game because I was just panning around, watching the sunset in this massive world. And I'm consistently asking myself, how did this run on an original Switch?
Sure.
Because holy goodness.
Yeah, I have 3 because I hear 3 is also very good, but
Really good, yeah.
I never got into it. Like I don't even know that I ever turned it on. I think it was on sale one time. You know, the way Switch games are, it was probably $50
Hmm.
instead of $60. And it was one of those, like, it just like sat on my little cross media bar, whatever you call it, on the Switch, and I just like never felt the desire to get it. I mostly just got it because it was on sale at the
Hmm.
time. I don't remember what else I was playing, but I just like it wasn't that I had the free time, and I just never got around to it. And now every now and then I'll, if I'm like in a rut with gaming, or like I can't, there's just not something that's really clicking for me, I'll just like scroll through all the consoles to see like, okay, what is my backlog looking like? What might grab me? Is it a replay? Is it a new play? Whatever. And a few times I've looked at it and I've like paused for a second, like, is this when I try Xenoblade for the first time? And every time I've paused, it's not been the time. But then I
Hmm.
keep hearing people talk about Definitive Edition. And I'm like,
The first one,
yeah.
yeah.
I was like, is
And
that it?
and
Is that the move? Is
and don't
just
get me
doing the
wrong,
first one?
I've heard that 2 is the best one in a lot of,
Okay.
if it's from general anecdotal
Yeah.
seeing it online. But just as a series as a whole, I don't think I've ever seen anybody say anything bad. Like
Yeah.
that, and that's kind of what made me buy all the games. I just bought all 4 of them in one shot. I saw them on sale once. I've just never seen anybody say anything bad about it. It's like one of those series
Yeah.
where you just don't find a lot of people who have anything negative to say about it. And I was like, man, this might be my jam. And I'm like 25 hours in, and I was like, yeah, this is
Nice.
my jam.
Because Xenoblade, it's
Yeah.
more of like an active RPG, right? It's not like the turn based.
It is it. So it's not turn based, like, oh, the battle starts, you take your turn, I take my turn, sort of. But if you start a battle, you are not button mashing. Like, you're not button mashing doing your moves. Your auto attack is on like a sort of a cooldown. Like, it does the auto attack every couple of seconds, and then you have a bar with what they call arts, which are kind of like your cooldown moves, and you can initiate those cooldown moves whenever you want to. And so it kind of has that pace where it's not turn based, but it's not completely action based either. It
Okay.
took a little bit to get used to it, but then once I like got the flow of it, and like you can say you can like sort of break them, and then you can put them into another mode, and then do another mode. It's sort of like stacking of
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
side effects and stuff like that.
Is
The battle system got intricate enough for me.
how similar is it to like Final Fantasy VII Remake type, where it's like it's still, there's time elements to it, but it is still actiony.
No, it's just not actioning. I
Okay.
wouldn't
Okay.
say that. Like, you could literally start a fight and put your switch down and do
Oh wow.
absolutely nothing, and everybody is just gonna auto attack. You're gonna auto attack, and then your 2 teammates are gonna do their attacks,
Wow.
and
Okay.
that's kind of just how it is. And it's more of like everybody has their turn, but it's not really a turn as much as it is your cooldown for your auto attack, and then your cooldown for your special moves.
Got it.
Yeah.
The chat seems to be in on Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive. Noah especially says, a certified JRPG hater, he says. But he tried Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition last year and put like 60 hours into it and had fun. Didn't finish it, but definitely worth the money. I think I will pick this up. I will add it to the wish list because, you know, it's not going to be on sale for much, but I feel like
Yeah.
there's something in my brain about, I think part of the reason I've never clicked open on Xenoblade 3 is that it's 3 and I've never played the franchise. And there's
100%.
it's different than Final Fantasy where like you can just pick any of them, because, and maybe Xenoblade is the same where all of the games are different and I just don't know this.
They are, but they are connected.
Got it. Okay.
Where like Final Fantasy, they're all different stories and they're not connected. Uh Apparently Xenoblade 1 through 3, they are connected.
Okay.
Like, they take place in the same universe. X, and just to be clear, I'm playing Definitive Edition, like the first one, like Xenoblade 1 Definitive Edition.
Yeah.
X came out last year, and that was the one that piqued my interest. I was like, okay, mechs, I can, anything that has mechs, you got me. You got me with the
Good to know.
mechs.
Good to know.
And so that was the first one I bought, but then I was like, you know what? I'm the kind of guy, and we'll get into this maybe when we talk about Fable. I don't want to play a remake, and I don't want to play the second, third, or fourth game of something if I didn't play the ones that
That's,
came
yeah,
before it. Because
for
I
sure.
want to see the evolution, you know?
Yeah.
Because then you'll end up playing 3, and you'll love it, and you'll be like, all right, cool, maybe I'll go play 1 or 2. And then the mechanics, are dated because they've made advancements into 3. And I hate that feeling, that friction of going back to older games once you played the newer ones.
Yeah, I've been playing Fable 3 and I've been playing so much Fable 3. And I played all of the Fables back in the day. And I do want to, there's some more Xenoblade conversation in the chat, so we will go back to that. But
no, go.
I have become completely obsessed with Fable 3. I've put like 15 hours into it over the last like week because there's knowing that Resident Evil Requiem is my next like big game, I think, and I'm doing the Resident Evil franchise to go through for the Leon games. I'm just like not really playing a thing right now, and so I was like, okay, I don't know what I want it to do, but then the homie Jake Twitchin been streaming some Fable games that got me into it, but then finally I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do 3. It's the newest of them. I don't know that it's going to really stick with me, but at least like I'll get an idea of it going into the developer direct last week. And because I played them back when they launched, and I remember, and a lot of people seem to share the opinion that Fable 3 is like not very good, at least compared to Fable 1 and 2. But man, I am having such a good time, and I've forgotten virtually everything about this game other than like the most broad sweeping things, like
because you played.
I did play all 3 of them. Other than like, I know with 3, the big like difference is that eventually you are like the ruler of this world, and so you can make like decisions on siding with one faction or the other or things like that. But it takes you a while to get there. I'm remembering because I thought you just started as the king or queen, and I'm like, no, I'm 15 hours in, and I'm still not the queen of this country. But man, I'm having so much fun. It's like this. It's just such a whimsical, like, nothing matters, go do the thing. Every now and then it's just like a fetch quest, but it's so different than so many video games of like every single person in the world you can have a relationship with to some degree, whether that's romantic or not, based on their sexual orientation and your sexual orientation. And it's just like, it was a game that I think was so ahead of its time, and I'm having so much fun with it. Like we do our Dido company meetings every Sunday night, and throughout Sunday I played for like 6 hours straight, and I was like just slowly buying up as much real estate as I could. And we start the meeting, and I'm like, I just got into this like flow state right before the meeting where it's like every 5 minutes I'm making like 30 grand. I don't want to lose that for 2 hours. And so I just had it up the whole time. And every now and then I would turn around and just like move the stick so that it wouldn't disconnect. Exactly. And by the end of the meeting, I had $450,000. And so now the game is just totally broken. I have so much money in the game that I now own every piece of real estate you can. And so now every 5 minutes, because you accrue your profits every 5 minutes. So now it's to the point where every 5 minutes I'm making like $300,000. And so the last I checked, I have like $15 million. And it's like, there's nothing I can do with it now. Like
you have too much now.
The economy is broken. I can go into every shop, buy every single thing, and it doesn't even make a dent. And that's with millions of dollars. Just think if I had billions, Mando.
Oh Jesus! You probably know how I feel about that.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, that was bait.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
But yeah, I'm having a great time with Fable. But all of that to say, so that's my report on Fable 3. But the reason I brought it up on the heels of that is now I want to play more Fable, but I worry going back to 1 and 2. With even though I've played all 3 of them, we're playing this the most upgraded, polished version of 3. And so I might end up just waiting until the new Fable comes out, which maybe we'll touch on a little bit later in the show. But man, so you've never played any of the Fables, Mando?
I've never played any of the Fables. That's a what's it called? That's just like a spot I don't have.
Fuck,
it's escaping me, the phrase.
It's a blind spot.
Blind spot. Yeah. There we go. That's a blind spot in my gaming repertoire. It is. After watching the developer direct, I'm like, all right, now I got to play one of them.
Yeah. That developer direct.
I always knew, but we'll get into it. Yeah. Now, the question before we move on.
Yes.
Have you played the Resident Evil games before this, and you're kind of just going back through them again?
Okay. I played a lot of them when I was younger. Whether actively or passively. Like I've told stories before where like the Resident Evil 1 remake on the GameCube, I didn't really play much, but I watched my brother and like would read the walkthrough to him the
Mm-hmm.
whole time. So it's like there I was very familiar with the franchise. It was the same thing for Resident Evil 0. But it wasn't really until 4 that I would play them myself. And then 4 and 5 happened, and like 6 I didn't really love, but I'm hoping that that changes
Yeah.
once me and Blaster Goblin stream Resident Evil 6. But the Resident Evil 2 remake really like reinvigorated my love
Mm.
of the franchise because of how good the remakes are. And now like it's kind of maybe like low key one of, if not my favorite franchise, because I love survival horror, and the remakes are just so well done, and they're different enough usually from the original game that it like scratches a similar enough itch. There's like, oh, I remember these things, but also adds enough new stuff where it
But it's
feels like a new
fresh
experience.
enough.
It's like such a cool thing
Yeah.
that they do. Um, but I didn't love 7 and 8. I liked them fine,
Mm-hmm.
but the first person forward and Ethan, whatever the fuck his name is like the worst protagonist. He's so boring. So I'm excited that 9 is you can either be third or first
Back
person.
to back to
And we
back
got
to the
Leon.
back to the
And we got this new
yeah.
protagonist, and Ethan is fucking
Yeah.
dead, I hope. So I'm very excited for Resident Evil 9 for sure.
That is hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I didn't play the again, I don't do horror, but RE2 remake was so good that it made me try. And I got like about an hour in and I was like, all right, you know what? These games aren't for me.
sure.
These,
That makes
I'm a
sense.
wuss. They're
That
not
makes
for me.
sense.
Yeah.
I did want to go back to the Xeno question or the conversation briefly because Gianni
Yeah.
says, Mando, is he a
The
Xenogears
Xenogears.
fan?
No, I'm not actually. And I was talking to a friend about me playing these games, and he was like, "Have you played Xenogears?" And I was like, "Nah." And he was like, "One of the best PS1 games of all time. You better get
Yeah.
on that." So
Xenogears is
yeah.
a franchise that I've always been surprised has never really come back in a big way. Because
Mm-hmm.
Xenogears is a franchise that for a very long time I really like admired from afar. In that I didn't grow up with PlayStations, but I would go to Hollywood Video, I'd go to Blockbuster, or I'd go to a friend's house and I would see the box of Xenogears and be like, that looks like the coolest game that's ever existed. And I can't play it
Yeah.
because I don't have a PlayStation.
It used to give me Final Fantasy vibes, and
Yes, for sure.
I was like this because back in the day it was like, how does this cover look? This
Yeah.
cover looks kind of cool. Maybe I'll take this. Maybe I'll ask my parent for this one. But yeah, it just never ended up in my hands. I feel like there's like maybe 2 or 3 games, like a PS1 game and I think a PS2 game,
That sounds right,
if I
but I'm
remember
not positive.
correctly.
Yeah.
But I haven't gotten to them, and I the backlog's too long. The
The back,
backlog's too long.
the backlog
Oh
is yeah, the
God.
backlog is far too
Yeah.
long. I remember back in the day, pre podcast world, pre like real adult life world, where I was like, oh, I'm just like casually gonna play Final Fantasy 9 on the Vita because I can just do whatever I want. And now it's
Yeah.
like the thought
Yeah.
how nice it would be to just play Final Fantasy 9 on the Vita these days. Um,
Yeah.
because yeah, who let
Simpler
back in the log
times.
for sure, Noah.
Simpler
Um,
times.
I'm going to talk about one more game, but I'll kind of lean us into our first story with it as well.
Yeah.
I've been playing Highguard, a very little amount of Highguard, but I've been playing Highguard. For those of you that don't know, let me change the B-roll because I'm still on Xenogears. This is actually just 7 minutes of relaxation with Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. But no, this is the some Highguard. So this came out
It's
yesterday.
hilarious.
And this is the game for those of you that don't know that was announced at the Game Awards. It was the final announcement at the Game Awards. Apex developers, I think Titanfall
Mm-hmm.
developers, but the new hopefully hot thing in the multiplayer space. And Mando, I don't know if you know this about me, but like I really just don't care about these kinds of games at all. They've never spoken to me. I've tried so many of them and I've just never been interested in this. And a lot of it is I've always a minority opinion. I've always viewed gaming as a singular thing, as a solo thing. I've never
Mm.
really been I look at gaming as a time to hang out with my friends. Not to say that I have never done that. It just in my mind, it just
Yeah.
like that's not how I think about playing games. I think of that as like, oh, I'm gonna turn my brain off from the world and just like focus on this thing. And I don't want to have small talk or big talk with friends while I do this thing. So that's a big part of it for me. But I was like, you know what? It's free. I would probably be good to have an opinion on this in some capacity, even as someone who doesn't like these kinds of games. And I think I maybe want to become a Highguard sicko. Like
Oh yeah.
I really, really liked my very limited time with this game. Now, I have been known to try to get into a multiplayer game before. The last time that happened, it was shut down after like 5 days in Concord.
Oh
Uh,
boy.
and so hopefully that doesn't happen with Highguard. However,
Yeah.
there's something about it, and I can't quite put my finger on what it is. Maybe Noah can, because Noah has put like a lot more time in it than I have. But I am having such a good time with it, and I think part of it is just like the general design of the game. Like it's very aesthetically pleasing, but there's something to me about there being at every point of the match. So the way that the matches are built, there's like at the beginning is like prep time, and maybe this is like so generic and everyone does this and I'm just out of the loop and I sound like an asshole right now, but at the beginning of the match there's like a prep time where you can like make your base a little stronger. You can just like get a lay of the land type thing, and then when that ends you have like a couple minutes to go out into the world and like find better weapons. And then when
Okay.
that ends, everyone tries to go get this thing, this I forget what it's called. It's like a shield breaker, I think they call it. And whoever gets the shield breaker then takes it to the other team's base, tries to plant it, and in the midst of this, like, you guys are fighting each other, so if you lose it then they can take it to your base, etc. And if you get the shield breaker to the other team's base, you can essentially raid their base, and the goal in
Mhm.
a raid is to like take down one of these like three, let's call them flags, essentially. And if you take
I'm
those
getting real
down,
MOBA vibes
it
from
it
this,
it
like League of
feels, to my
Legends,
understanding, it
sort of
feels MOBA-y.
like
I've
pacing
just
wise.
pacing wise, yeah. I've just never really fucked around with a MOBA. So again, that's why I'm like,
Mhm.
maybe this is all so basic, and I am ignorant of it.
Not for this
Um,
kind of game though,
but
but
I really like the
interesting.
structure. There's something
Mhm.
really appeasing to me about it being very structured. Like, oh, okay, I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing here, but there's also different things to be doing. Whereas with like your classic multiplayer game, it's, oh, everyone has a shared goal: kill each other, capture the flag, capture the area or the areas, and like run a timer up, capture the
Mhm.
ball and hold the ball, run around with the ball. Like a lot of these also, very obviously Halo things, but like something about there only being one task in those games also just feels kind of boring to me. And so for
Mhm.
this, I like that it's like segmented time wise, of like, okay, you have this like short mission to go get this thing, and if you fail getting the thing, now you have to play defense and sit back in your base and try to keep them from blowing up the three things. And I'm having and I've only played 2 matches, but I'm having a really good time with it so far. And it's getting a ton of hate, and I'm not really sure. I've not paid enough attention to it to know why people are hating it, but I do see Rabbit in the chat says the gameplay seems generic. I thought Wildgate was better design. That could certainly be the case. Again, that goes back to my, I'm probably ignorant on the topic because I don't play these games a lot.
Mhm.
But it feels, I don't know, so it feels good to me. The way that the
Yeah.
gunplay is, the way like moving around is. And you also have mounts, like when you're in the shared space in the middle, you just like double tap X and you get on a mount, and so
Get on
everything
your
like
mount.
the bigger space feels not as big because you can
Mhm.
move a lot faster. But I'm having a very good time with Highguard, and I'm very surprised by that. Is Highguard on your radar at all, Mondo?
Highguard is on my radar. Maybe getting into some of what the negative sentiment around the game is. The marketing or lack of marketing for this game has just been such a massive point of contention.
Yeah.
Like, yo, these guys showed it off at the end of the Game Awards. We haven't heard anything from these guys in weeks. The game comes out in like 2 days. And I have loved that because
Yeah.
it's almost like everybody else just did the job for them. And then reading from your notes, apparently it was meant to be a shadow drop.
Yeah.
And so like that that makes me interested as to like why Jeff even put it at the end of the show. Like apparently they didn't even pay for that slot. He just gave it to them.
Yeah.
Which is insane when I think about it, because
Yeah,
there's no other game that could
let
be
me
the
jump
last
into that
game.
real quick.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we
get into
have
that. We'll get back.
we have an article from Insider Gaming. This is Tom Henderson, I think, that broke this story. That Highguard was meant to be a shadow drop, but Jeff Keighley wanted it at the Game Awards. So he writes, and I'll just kind of skim through this, but he writes, it's been an unusual couple of months for Wildlight Entertainment's Highguard, mostly in part to the constant abuse the game has received for its lack of marketing since the Game Awards announcement. But now we know why. It was meant to be a shadow drop. During a behind-the-scenes presentation with press creators and Vice President of Product and Publishing Jason Torfin and lead designer Mohammed Alavi, they sat down with attendees of the event to answer questions. And as expected, one of the main questions was around the game's marketing, or should we say lack thereof. And that's because the game was always intended to follow a similar release to Apex Legends, a shadow drop. However, sometime in 2025, the Game Awards host Jeff Keighley put a spanner in the works. Put a spanner in the works. That must be an English phrase. I don't know that phrase. Because he was stoked for the game and wanted to reveal it. Speaking at the event, the original plans, Torfin said, I think the fact that we're independent and that we're smart with how we run our business and build our team means that we have those luxuries. We're not beholden to shareholders or any sort of other corporate shenanigans, and it allows us to have that sort of confidence. And from the get-go, you can't bank on commercial success right out of the gate. If you do that, you're probably going to fail most of the time. And that's why we were going to do a shadow drop. Let the game speak for itself. It was always the plan. And then, Jeff came in the past year and he played the game. I mean, he really liked it and was stoked, and we had the opportunity, and he decided, okay, we can make a trailer that would be our shadow drop. And so when we put it out there, that it was going to be the first thing that they saw in the shadow drop, followed by 25 minutes of other context. And unfortunately, the trailer wasn't meant to be the thing to educate. So essentially, he's saying like this opportunity was too good that Jeff was like,
pass up. 100%.
we want to make this be at the Game Awards, but they couldn't get it to shadow drop at the time. So like, okay, sure. And then, of course, that's why they haven't been marketing it, because that wasn't the plan. And so and now that like, it's in a way, if this game doesn't succeed, at least in some capacity, I will be surprised, because now it has like the larger conversation happening of where the fuck was it? It's here now. This is why it wasn't here. And so now like there's so much discussion happening around it. I feel like that will bring more players to it, because now more people are going to know what it is. But isn't that so funny and interesting how that all played out?
It is. And maybe I'm as interested in it as I am because I work in marketing and communications.
Sure.
And so I'm watching all of this unfold and I'm like, yeah, this is really interesting. Like, why aren't they talking? And I always thought like, you know what? Like, they're just not going to say anything and probably just release this game. And they didn't say anything until like 2 days before where they're like, hey, we're going to talk about this game and then release it. And then you guys will be on your way. But I thought that was really interesting. This is the kind of stuff that like companies pay millions of dollars for. Like the amount of
much money.
Word of mouth track. We're reading an article about it. This wasn't the plan of theirs, and the eyeballs that they're getting, and for all the negative that's being said, I'm seeing just as much positive. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't played it, and I'm going to download it so I can play it tonight. But if this is from the people who made Apex and Titanfall, Apex has some of the best gunplay I've experienced in a game. First person shooter. Titanfall. Ugh, such a tragedy. We're not probably gonna never get another Titanfall. Incredible gunplay. And so I don't know if I have any worries about the gunplay, but as I'm listening to you describe the gameplay phases and paces, that sounds like a MOBA. When you start League of Legends, you could just go and fight each other. But everybody who's playing knows that that's stupid and you shouldn't do that. You need to go farm minions, get your money up, go buy some items. And it's kind of going through that pace. Like, hey, I kind of see my enemy. I'm like, he's farming. I'm farming. I might poke you a little bit. You might poke me. But ultimately, I know that we're trying to get our money up so we can actually get this real fight going on later.
Yeah.
And even to the point of like getting this item and the back and forth that can happen of you losing the shield breaker and them taking it. And you could probably get somebody's base down 90%. and then they'll probably take the shield breaker and you never get it back and you end up losing. And that happens a lot in MOBAs where
Sure.
sometimes the tide just changes in the match.
Well, so that is one thing that is, and again, only 2 matches, but because it's so phase based, if you get the shield breaker into the slot to break the shield, then it's like, okay, now the phase is raid defense. That event is now happening to completion. Either they defend it long enough that this raid fails and now the shield breaker is back in play, or they succeed, and you lose the match or you win the match or whatever. So it's I guess that as someone who just doesn't really know MOBA as well, that sounds like a little bit of a difference from the MOBA space, but it's still kind of dipping the toes in MOBA-ish. Yeah, because I know one of the big like popular modes, I'm probably going to sound like a dumbass, but I know like payload is like one of the really popular ones where
in Overwatch,
there's like the big thing that you're moving, like defending it while it goes to the thing.
You can get it all the way to the end, but if time runs out,
visually it looks like that, but it's not that at all. Where like there's this giant thing when you're doing the raid that's like breaking the base down essentially, but it's more so about just whether you actually succeed in your mission at that point. Not and it is time based, but it's not it doesn't move across the map like it does in Payload or whatever. But
that makes sense though, and I like that dynamic because it builds pressure. You know, like you're the team who's great. You got the shield breaker in there. You got to get the job done now.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's this need to defend the base now from the other team, and I'm saying when you get to the end of a payload in a good Overwatch match and y'all are just fighting it out, and it's just happening for like a whole minute, that shit feels really, really intense. And so if they're creating moments like that in this game, that's really awesome. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to trying it out. I'm just looking forward to new and fresh and different. And this game is presenting that, and that's it looks like nothing else that's out, and I think that's doing enough for it.
And there's something I really like about the aesthetic of like sci-fi meets fantasy that I just feel like isn't a very. It's not that it doesn't get done. It just I feel like it's still not done a lot, and so seeing this like a very tech forward character but just like on the back of a horse, it's just like there's something like interesting about that to me, in a field, and it's like it looks just this like medievally kind of field, but then there's these like shields and there's like, so it's, I don't know, it's like this mixture of genres that I also kind of scratches a part of my brain that I like.
It's almost like the appreciation of like retro futuristic Star Wars tag, like 80s, what they thought, what the 80s thought the future was going to look like, sort of. There's like that appreciation for that futuristic analog sort of stuff.
Noah in the chat does mention you brought up Apex, and he says, and I agree, the combat in the game when in the open map parts feels like Apex team fighting. The scale and scope of the map, the combat distances, TTK, the movement intertwining with gunplay, even the elevation changes in environmental object density feels like Apex team fighting. I only played Apex literally like 5 times, but when I was doing the tutorial, I was like, oh, I see why people think this feels good. Like it, because it just it felt smooth and it felt like very satisfying. Of like, even I'm just shooting fucking targets and I'm throwing grenades at targets, but just like the way that the arch of the where like the line for the grenade, it's like it's so aesthetically pleasing to me that I'm like, okay, this is at least doing enough for me where I might try to squad up with some people, because it's certainly, I've only played 2 matches of Highguard, but if I didn't have anyone to play this game with, I wouldn't play this game ever. I just wanted to try it out because I don't, especially I'm not going to talk to strangers while I'm playing a video game, but it certainly is the kind of game where you need to be strategizing.
I imagine.
Yeah, Noah mentioned it in the chat earlier, but like there's a point system with it. So when you do certain things, I don't understand the point economy enough to speak to it a lot, but certain things get you a certain amount of points. And so there are times when it's like, oh, they're at this point number, we're at this point number, we need to do this instead of that to get more points because we need to make up that ground or whatever. That I think is also, it just adds another interesting layer of puzzling out how can we win this battle that we are very much losing right now, other than just kill. Which sometimes I'm in the mood to kill, but others I'm not.
Yeah. And Noah said it, like this game definitely has some MOBA DNA. It's definitely present in its own unique way, seemingly.
Yeah.
Because it's the pace. But I'm like, I have like 1,000+ hours in Apex. So when they announced this, and I was like, oh, Apex devs, I'm in there. I'm in
Yeah,
there to at
sure.
least try it because Apex gunplay is just so good. Um, do they have skills, the characters? And is there any uniqueness to the character you choose, or is it all a baseline and then you kind of go from there?
They do. So there's I think either 3 or 4 like classes. There's ones that are like attack focused. There's one that's like a
Mhm.
recon focused. So looking around the field,
More
identifying
MOBA.
your people,
Oh, I like this.
or
I
your
like what I'm
enemies.
hearing.
Yeah, there's like a defensive one. I didn't play any of the defensive ones, so I don't know. I think assuming that their abilities are more defense focused.
More defensive,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, Noah says it's a passive, a minor ability, and then an ult per class. So each of them you have like a little bit of a unique thing, but not so much where like with something like a Concord, where like certain classes, like certain weapons worked better or whatever, like those kinds of things where it's like
Mm.
it's a baseline otherwise, but then there's a few little things that change based on the character you choose, which I like.
And since you brought up Concord, I just want to say one thing
Yeah.
about Concord and passing. I did not play Concord, but I probably didn't play Concord for the same reason millions of other people didn't play it. I remember when they showed the trailer for that game, and at the end of the trailer it said, pre-order today.
Yeah.
And I said, you think I'm spending money on this?
Yeah.
You must be out of your mind. And that was the day Concord died,
For
in
sure.
my personal opinion. It's just we have too many of those games for you to think you were charging $40 for that.
For sure. Which is like
And it's a
Marathon
shame
about
because I
to
heard
I'm
that
like,
people who played it
ugh.
really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marathon too. Yeah, but I will say, Arc Raiders kind of just proved that they
Yeah,
could do
no,
that.
that's true.
Yeah,
That is true.
yeah.
Yeah, I Concord it really worked for me for some reason. I don't really know. I couldn't even really put
It looked
my
good.
finger on it. It was really clean and it felt good. But I understand why they canceled it. Like it sucks that they canceled it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like they had like
Yeah.
5,000 players on like day 2 or something. Is like, okay, then
Oh
this
my
game is
God, that's
dead. Like of course it's
yeah.
dead. Um
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, oh yeah, Noah said there's a reason that Highguard, even getting clowned as Concord 2, peaked at 100K and Concord peaked at 700. The price tag hurt for sure.
Yeah, the price tag hurt for
And I'm
sure.
sure
It
there
really
were
did.
more players on PlayStation than, and PlayStation doesn't track concurrence
Hmm.
like that. But still, it's like if Steam, the biggest platform for gaming, you only get 700 as a max, and even though that's not like the platform it's being built for, you're fucked. But
Yeah.
speaking of
Yeah, for
fucked,
sure.
Mondo, unfortunately, rest in peace to Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake. I am pulling from Jordan Midler at VGC. There was a whole big thing about Ubisoft. Ubisoft, they canceled 6 games, including the Sands of Time remake, and also delayed 7 other games to ensure enhanced quality benchmarks are fully met. It's part of a larger announcement that is conducting a major organizational, operational, and portfolio reset. They stated that it had, quote, conducted a thorough review of its content pipeline over the last 2 months. Essentially, the review led to the decision to refocus its portfolio, reallocate resources, and comprehensively revise its roadmap over the next 3 years. Essentially, they're just cutting the fat to try to become profitable because they have been in a
Basically.
bad way for quite some time. So yeah, as a result of that, they've discontinued 6 games. And the most notable of them was Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake, which had already been rebooted at one point. But 4 of the 6 were unannounced titles, and at the point of writing the article, the identity of the 6th had not been clarified. It might have been updated to so that we know what that is at this point, but I don't know what it is as we record this.
Yeah.
But really, the main I think topic I want to discuss is the Prince of Persia: Sands of Time being canceled. Are you a Prince of Persia guy at all?
I was a Prince of Persia kid. I played Prince of Persia Sands of Time. I think, if I'm not mistaken, there was also a Game Boy game, Prince of Persia game, or
There
PSP
was.
game. I forget which handheld, and I played that one as well.
Okay.
Yeah, Prince of Persia was one of those titles. I forget who said something. I remember somebody told me that one of the Prince of Persia games, one of the I think Assassin's Creed One was supposed to be a Prince of Persia game,
Yeah.
and they changed it up and it ended up becoming Assassin's Creed, which is really cool. But I was a Prince of Persia kid, man. That was a time to be alive. And when I
Man,
was looking forward to this remake, I really was.
I
Yeah.
was so looking forward to this remake, and I remember the first time we saw it being like, oh, that doesn't look good. And then they went silent for a long time, and then they rebooted it, and it was like, hey, we've started over development basically because it's just not quite hitting. And
Mhm.
then so like I shouldn't be surprised that eventually it was canceled, but man, because the Sands of Time I think is so good, and I for a long time I wouldn't have ever said Prince of Persia was my favorite franchise, but it was the kind of franchise where it's like, oh, there's a new Prince of Persia out, I'm buying it for a very long time. Like
Mhm.
the two princes or whatever, twin princes, whatever they called that one, and then they did the like just Prince of Persia, but it was like cell shaded. Nolan North was, for whatever reason, the voice of Prince of Persia, because I guess a white man can be Persian, I guess. Um, but I love that game, and it's like there have been so many Prince of Persia games that I've loved, which coincidentally I kind of low key hated the Lost Crown, but I'm also not a big
Oh
I'm not a
no.
big Metroidvania
What
guy.
is with
So
Patrick's? What is with Patrick's like? You just got to go against the grain, like the against the grain opinion.
well, here's the thing.
Because most people loved Lost Crowned. I
Most people
feel
do,
like.
and I will. This
Yeah,
is what I say about Lost Crown. I recognize that it's a very good game. I just don't like it.
it's not for you.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
just not for me. But I
Are
do.
you a Metrovania
Not really. There have been a
person?
few.
Okay.
Really, there have been a couple in the past that really clicked for me. Weirdly, the two Guacamelee games, if you ever played those, are
Okay.
probably
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
favorite
I haven't played them, but
Metroidvanias
I've heard them.
ever. Oh wait, I
Those are
think I.
Metroidvanias.
Oh,
I didn't
they can
even
hear
know
you. I
that.
can't. Hold on. I think my headphone died. Let me fix this.
Oh. Yeah.
Talk more about Prince of Persia.
Yeah. I was gonna say I mean, Prince of Persia: Lost Crown. I mean, just to get into the Metroidvania, I didn't know the Guacamole was a Metroidvania. I gotta look into that because I love me a good Metroidvania. But yeah, man, Prince of Persia, like you said, Prince of Persia is one of those franchises, and it was like, okay, you get the Lost Crown, you're getting a Sands of Time remake, and it just felt like they were bringing back this franchise.
Yeah.
And not like I always want to see my games made into like some live action thing, but like Prince of Persia, I could see that being an actually good live action IP, like an IP to bring into the movie theater or into television, because it's not something so far fetched to make happen. Um, and I
And
don't know,
then
man, it
Jake
just seems
Gyllenhaal
like,
as the in the Prince of Persia movie. They love making a white guy the Prince of Persia. Apparently,
of course, man, of
yeah.
course.
Noah in the chat said, I think Ubisoft is really concerned about getting profitable right the fuck now because at the end of this 3-year partnership, there's a path for Tencent to just start a hostile takeover. They need to justify them not
Mm,
doing that. This was very painful but very necessary fat trimming for them. Wow, I didn't
yeah,
realize. I know that they've always been at. There have been more than one moments of history where Ubisoft has been like fighting a hostile takeover. So, but I didn't realize that was part of this one was the reason that they cut so many of those things. And I'm so like I don't have this in front of me, but part of this like restructuring was kind of the way that like Square does it, where they have these like business units now that, and these business units are tasked with like certain brands. So like there's one that's
yeah,
like the Assassin's Creed one. There's one that's like the Just Dance and like all of the party game type ones. There's like a family, or actually that I think that's the family game one. And I'm surprised that Prince of Persia didn't fit in that. I mean, with how bad it looked originally, maybe just like the reboot of it just still was not looking very strong. But in general, I'm so surprised that the IP of Prince of Persia seems to just continue to die because the studio that did The Lost Crown also shut down after they did the, or maybe not the studio but the team. I forget exactly what that was. Essentially the
yeah.
team that made that is now gone, and so it's like, what is it with Prince of Persia and Ubisoft? But I know profitability has been a huge issue for them, but I hope we get some good fucking Prince of Persia before I die, essentially.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of what we're seeing with companies not wanting to take risks. You know, the
Yeah,
line has to keep going up, and so like unless it's a surefire bet and the numbers guys can come back with some projections that make sense, it's like, yo, let's just kill it. You know,
yeah,
and we'll get into this a little bit when we talk about the developers direct, but it was something I thought about when I saw Kiln, and I was like, yo, considering all the games that Xbox canceled and or like studios that they closed, they're okay with this game.
sure.
And so like but I feel like when I thought about it, I was like, you know what? I could see how a Perfect Dark was costing a lot of money, and they were like, "Yo, as much as we'd like to, we'd also just like that money back."
Sure.
And I wonder if Ubisoft ended up making this decision where it was just like, "Yo, we could see this game selling, but also it would be really nice to have this money back right now."
Yeah, I
Yeah,
wish they would just fucking sell the IP at this point. And like, okay, you need money, go sell Ubisoft to fucking PlayStation or whatever and let them give Prince of Persia to PlayStation and let them give Prince of Persia to like Blue Point or whatever. Like just give it to a publisher or a studio the size of Ubisoft that can fucking make games, because Ubisoft clearly has trouble doing that these days.
yeah, yeah.
But you know what wasn't affected in that restructuring, which I find so interesting and funny, is Beyond Good and Evil 2. That has its own little corner in one of the explanations or one of the things. I'm like, really? We're still doing Beyond Good and Evil 2 after all this time?
And again, it might be an expense thing. Like they looked at the numbers and they're like, why even squash that? Like it's
Sure.
minuscule money. And it makes me wonder how much money they were even really putting into
Yeah,
a Prince of Persia to make that to bring that to life.
that's a good
Because
point.
now, I mean, there's a standard for remakes now. You know,
That is
like
true.
you got that RE2 and RE3 remake, that's a standard.
That
Dead
is very
Space
true.
remake, that's a standard. Final Fantasy 7, Fable,
Yeah.
those are standards you got to meet now. And
That's a really good
yeah,
point,
wondering if that was just a long shot for them.
because we've not seen a real remake yet from Ubisoft. There's been the rumors for a long time about the um, Assassin's Creed
Black Flag.
4 Black Flag remake, but we've
Hmm.
still not seen it. And so I
Yeah.
wonder if that's part of it, is that their remake game is just not market compatible at this point. That's an
Yeah.
interesting thought.
Because I feel like, for a while we were having the conversation of, is this a remake or is this a remaster?
Yeah.
Like is it really a remake? And there are some games that fall into the remaster, The Last of Us is, um but then like you look at a Final Fantasy 7 and RE2 and 3, those are ground up
Yeah.
remakes, and I'm wondering if they're just looking at the landscape and consumers, gamers just have a different expectation when you put
Could.
remake or like we're revisiting this title and franchise you love. You better do it right. I
Could.
mean, uh shit, Xbox has got a job to do with Fable. As good as it looks, you still gotta land the plane
Yeah.
and deliver, and people are gonna hold you to it. That's for sure.
That's so true, because we can dip into that a little bit, because man, there have been uh, it looks so good with what they
I know
showed
it
us of
does.
Fable. It looks so fucking good. But then I'm like, are we sure? Are we
Yeah, I
sure that they're going to be able
know.
to do that?
I know.
Yeah. So we talked about this last week a bit on over on Dido, but what did you think about the developer direct?
Yeah, I'll go through it really quickly. So we can spend maybe most of the time on Fable, but overall, the show, I agree with you guys, as you said on the show. This is my favorite format of
It's
learning
so
about
good.
my
It's
games
so
that are
strong.
coming up. I will say I understand how that it can't always be this because it's so long and you can only do but so many games in a certain amount of time and give them that love. And so we still need to have the states of plays, the Nintendo Directs, and the Xbox showcases of the world where it's just trailers. But I want to see more of this. Like I want to see PlayStation do a dedicated show like this. I know they do like a state of play for Spider-Man or a state of play for God of War, and we'll dive into one of those for like 10 minutes. But like, nah, man, give me like just a show, but like three of these
Mm-hmm.
and dive into them. Whether it's you're the first party or the second party publisher, whatever it might be, and let's dive into them. Nintendo has like their tree houses, but those are like I feel like those are like just such a deep dive and like
Yeah,
it's like a different thing. Xbox has really got one with this format of developer directs. I love it.
I agree, and
Absolutely do.
I'm surprised that PlayStation hasn't tried to emulate it like at all, because the state of play is a Nintendo Direct. It's them trying to
Yeah.
take the Nintendo Direct format and make it their own. And
Mm-hmm.
it's never been good. Like it's never even come close to what Nintendo Directs showcase. The only time that it's been good is when they've said this is a PlayStation showcase.
Showcase. Yeah.
And not to say that
Yeah.
they've been saying it's not been good is an overstatement, but typically I think on more occasions you walk away from a state of play saying I wish this, I wish that. Why wasn't this? Why wasn't that? As
Mm-hmm.
opposed to fucking, I can't wait to play this. Whereas,
Yeah.
and it's a numbers thing. It's like you show us 15, 16 things and you're just a lot less likely to hit the mark. Whereas Xbox, they show us 4 things with this. And that gives them so much, there's so many stakes around this that's like we can't
Yeah.
at the absolute most, only one of the things we show can be good. Everything
Yeah.
else has to be great or better, or else
Great.
this is
Yeah.
because also the amount of money that they must spend on producing this, because it's a
Oh,
documentary that they're making, like
yeah. Yeah.
filming.
That's also what I love
Yeah,
about it too. Like it's a
yeah,
passion thing, you know? Yeah.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, yeah, I absolutely love it. Bringing in the chat. Also, I missed this at the end of the Ubisoft conversation. Noah says Beyond Good
No,
and
yeah.
Evil 2 was announced early in Obama's first term.
Jesus
Is
Christ.
crazy.
Wow. That was my first election I voted in,
Me
actually.
too. Me too. And I thought I was going to be playing Beyond Good and Evil 2 by the end of the first term, and here we are. Democracy crumbling.
Yeah. You might
Fucking.
just get it. You might just get it before the Republic ends, you know?
At this point,
But
I guarantee that I will be arrested by ICE before I play Beyond Good and Evil 2. I fucking
oh
guarantee
boy.
it.
But likely honestly that there is probably a higher likelihood of
There's
that.
probably
Yeah.
a higher likelihood of that,
Probably
for
yeah,
sure.
for sure. To the point of PlayStation, I could see them having done this during the PS4 generation where their output was higher, but I don't think they have enough first party games to do this with. If they included second party and were willing to invest the money to do something like this, they could. But I feel like the past like 2 years, they've only had one first party game released, right? Like last year was Ghost of Yote.
Yeah,
The year before
because
was Astrobot. And they've had a few second parties and like third parties that they're like the
sure, with like a Death
marketing
Stranding or a Final
publisher
Fantasy, yeah,
for. Yeah. But like the past 2 3 years, not a lot of first party output, and I'm
that's a
wondering
good
if they're
point.
just not trying to put that much attention to what it is they're doing. Because I'm hot take, Wolverine's not coming out this year. If you think Wolverine's coming out this year, I don't.
Really, that is a hot
I don't.
take.
Yeah, I don't think it's coming out this year. I felt the same way when I saw the last trailer. I felt the same way I felt when they showed us God of War Ragnarok and they
Interesting.
put 2021, and I was like, nope, it's coming out the next year. This is absolutely not coming out by the end of that year, and they delayed it.
Sure.
I only reason I feel like I might be wrong is because it's Insomniac and they're doing witchcraft over there when
Yeah.
it comes to output, and I'm sure they're going to use a lot of Spider-Man 2 assets to build out that world.
Sure.
And so maybe the turnaround time is quicker, but I'm reserving I'll be if it gets delayed, I'm not gonna be surprised. I'll be okay with it.
Yeah.
But get back to the show. Forza Horizon 6 looks great. It's Forza Horizon 6. It's their premier franchise, which is
Yeah.
so crazy. But I will also say, Gran Turismo is also PlayStation's premier franchise. I'm not sure
Yeah.
a lot of people know this. If you look at the PS5 all-time sales, I forget which game is number one. I think it's Spider-Man 2. But I don't think that counts because Spider-Man is the greatest superhero of all time, and so that just doesn't count. Gran Turismo is PlayStation's number one franchise by a margin too. Like they've
The
sold,
Gran
I think
Turismo
the last time I
audience
checked,
is
there's a lot of sales.
fucking massive.
Yeah, across PS4 and PS5, I think it's like 14, 15 million copies sold. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And so it shouldn't be too surprising that Forza Horizon is also Xboxes. I think it's just so glaring
Sure.
when they don't really have anything else.
Yeah.
Where everything else is just kind of whatever.
Yeah.
So cool. Forza Horizon 6 looks great. I just wish I saw more nightlife, Japan
Me too.
racing. My favorite racing game of all time is Tokyo Extreme Racer.
I don't know that.
Yo, PS2 game. Oh my god, the hours I put into that game. It's just racing. None of the BS, none of the fluff.
Yeah.
You buy your car, you work on your car, you hit the Tokyo streets, the racers are on the map, you go behind a racer, you flash your lights, race. That's
Fuck,
it. And
that
then
sounds good.
whoever wins. You win, cool. You're immediately back on the road, right where you finished the race. Get behind somebody else, flash them lights, get that race
That
started.
sounds pretty
And
great.
you keep doing that until like you get like a boss race, and those tend to be pretty hard. But that is to me the GOAT racing game. And
No, you have activated Noah in the chat.
Noah's a man of good taste. I knew that already, though. That's a man of good taste. And yeah, and so I'm yearning for that. No, I don't know if you know that, but they made a Tokyo Extreme Racer. They made a reboot of it on
Oh, nice.
Steam. Yeah.
I mean,
So
you
cool.
check out Tokyo Extreme Racer. Here's my question.
I'm
I'm not a
telling you,
Forza
man, so
knower.
good.
Has Forza, but I know that they've saddled up before with Hot Wheels and Lego. Is there any
Mhm.
chance at any point, Mondo, that you think we get the Tokyo Drift theme, that dun 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 dun, 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 and we were playing in fucking Tokyo drifting in Forza
I
Horizon 6? Any shot?
Yeah, I will say if anybody's got the money to do it, it's freaking Microsoft.
Sierra says
I
they've
would.
had Fast and Furious tie-ins before. That I must not have noticed this before.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, I
Fuck.
didn't know that. But if they have, that means the relationship is there. That means the relationship
It's
is.
God.
Listen, if they put out a DLC trailer that starts like that, I might go
If
bananas.
they let us
I'm gonna go ape shit.
drive Lil Bow Wow's green Scion with the like big fist on the back of it, I'll lose my fucking mind.
Yeah, yo,
Fuck.
oh man. So yeah, I just need more of that night vibe, man. Like, I need Midnight Club 3 dub
Yeah.
edition. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I
oh yeah.
need
The
I
dub
need
edition.
that.
Fuck.
Yeah, I need that, man. I need that. I need some Tokyo Stream Racer. Somebody, I think those are the top three racing games of all time. Midnight Club Dub Edition, um, Tokyo Stream Racer. Please go play that. You
I
deserve to
will.
play that.
I
And
will.
then Need for Speed Most Wanted. I think that's
Yeah.
like near the top of everybody's racing
Okay.
list.
I've always been an underground girly myself. Need for Speed
Underground. Okay.
Underground. Yeah, I really
Okay.
like underground. But and I would throw a burnout in there for my lists.
Burnout.
Yeah.
Yes. Burnout for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Forza looks great. Um, Beast of Reincarnation
Yes.
looks. I I think it looks really good.
I'm not a believer.
It's up my lane. It's like it's appealing. It looks like Chinese studio Souls like
Mm,
with some action elements,
sure.
and it looks interesting. I do feel like I need to know more and see a little more, but I can see me playing that. I'm interested.
Yeah.
I think it had a good showing, and I don't know if you noticed this, but they must have said Pokemon in that developer direct like 10
Oh
times.
yeah.
Like, oh yeah, we learned when we were making Pokemon, and I don't know. I just feel like they're so happy to be making something that's not
Oh,
Pokemon. Like
which I do
so
think
happy.
might be their like secret weapon with this game, that they've been
Hmm.
so beaten down by Pikachu that they just yearn so much for a different anything that
Yeah,
maybe this game actually ends up fucking ripping. I just don't know that
yeah.
it's going to be for me.
If I remember from the episode when you were talking about it, it feels generic in a way.
Yeah.
Like it feels like just another one of kind of these games. But I love the environmental, like floral environment that they got going on and how that plays into your attacks and the enemies and all that. But it was giving me Souls like with some extra action because of the dog that comes into play and everything. Kiln looks really interesting.
Yeah.
And I walked away from that like I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna figure out what friends I'll play this with and try it out. Um, I love that Double Fine just gets to do weird shit, man.
Yeah.
Because this is the weird shit that like we wish studios would just get to do. Because whether this game blows up and is this major success, I don't know. Because I'm not getting that vibe.
Sure.
I feel like this is a passion project, and I guess Tim Schafer's just got that kind of pull that Microsoft is like, yeah, man, go make that. We'll publish that. It is what it
Yeah.
is. But I'm wondering what elements from this game get put into their next big game, like a
Sure.
Psychonauts 3 or whatever that their next big thing that they're working on. Because it made me think about before Spider-Man 2 came out, we got Ratchet and Clank. And I remember when I was playing that and they had the whole like Ratchet and Rivet sort of you could be one or the other and so on and so forth. I was like, "Oh, they're doing this because they're trying out this system for Spider-Man 2 when we
Sure.
play as Peter Parker and Miles Morales in the same game."
Sure.
And lo and behold, it was like a more polished version of that system for that game. And so I'm wondering if Kiln is partly that too. Like we're making this fun game because we think it's cool and this concept is awesome. But I'm wondering what elements and
Well,
features
I'm
and,
sure
and
there's
stuff like that
parts
they're
of
going to put into the next game.
I'm sure there's parts of Keeper in Kiln with running around as a lighthouse, like a very
Yeah,
not typical thing. And now we're all running around as like
that too.
various pottery things of like these inanimate tall objects with weird legs. So like I'm sure that there's a little bit of DNA crossover with that too. So you might be onto something with something
Yeah.
about Kiln with Psychonauts.
Yeah, and the same thing with Keeper. I think Keeper is that too. Like, what elements from Keeper
Yeah,
end up finding themselves in the next big thing, and not just in a Double Fine game, but in other games. You know,
sure.
it's with studios that get inspired by these passion projects. Because I imagine devs everywhere are wishing they could work on their passion project. You
For
know,
sure.
like that. I forget what it is that they call
Oh, Amnesia
that two
Fortnite,
week
which is so fucking
Amnesia
cool.
Fortnite. Oh my God, so good.
Yeah.
And it's just it's such a good way to, I think, build morale, get creativity flowing. Take 2 weeks off from the big project, right?
Yeah.
And that way when you get back to that big project, you're re-energized and like you're ready to tackle that again with new energy. So I just think that it's cool that they do that. Again, the kind of stuff you find out in developer directs, and it's
Yes.
just
Yeah.
it brings you a little closer to the product. And then last but not least, Fable.
Yeah.
I've not played any of the games, but you've just heard so much about it over the years because it is one of those RPGs. It was one of those ahead of its time kind of games. I didn't play it because I grew up where all my console experience was kind of centered around my older brother and whatever he bought, and he just wasn't an RPG person. And so he didn't care to buy any Fables when we had an Xbox. But from what I was talking to a big Fable fan during the show, and just what I've heard over the years of what Fable is and what makes it click, the good and evil decisions, the choice and consequence, and just how multi-layered and multifaceted that can actually be across the entire world. It just felt like they got it, you
Yeah.
know? And
I
then like
agree.
you hearing in the developer direct, they built the team from the ground up, you know, like this wasn't the Forza guys making a Fable game, which is what we always thought. Like maybe there's some elements from that team bleeding over, but it seems like the main developers who were brought together to do this
Yeah.
are fans of that franchise, are skilled at what they do, and it seems like they get it. Like they just seem like they get it. And it just looks really good.
Yeah.
Looks really good. And now
Hell
I
yeah.
gotta go. Now I gotta go. My next podcast episode is about my backlog, and I was like, damn it, I gotta go back, and now I gotta add Fable to the backlog because I gotta. Again, I don't like playing remakes of things without
Yeah.
knowing
Well,
what is being
here's
remade
the
from.
I know I talked a lot about Fable earlier, but I think a good selling point of the franchise is the games are quite short comparatively. Or
12 to
like,
15. Oh, I'm
yeah,
so happy about
especially
that.
like
Yeah.
I am 15 hours into my Fable playthrough and I've not even become the queen. So I must have at least like 5 or 10 hours left. But I've also taken my time and I've been
I was
like
gonna say, considering everything you've done,
fucking
yeah.
around. Whereas
Mhm.
I remember, and like the first one is only like 8 to 10 hours, if that. It's very much like because also they came out really close together. I think the first one was like 05 and then it was 08 and then 2010. So it's like they can't be. I know development was just a different beast back then, but they were a lot closer together than you would have thought, and so they can't be that big just based on time.
Yeah.
But yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I was looking up. I looked up the how long to beat, and all of them said like 10 to 12 hours. I think two said like 12 to 15. And I was like,
Yeah,
oh, I
easy.
got 12 to 15.
Yeah,
Easy.
for
Yeah.
sure. Couple other stories to talk through. Pikmin 2 and Metroid Prime 2 supposedly coming to GameCube's Nintendo Switch Online because Walmart leaked an image. So maybe it's not true. Maybe it's a doctored image. But those might be the next two GameCube games, which I know a lot of people are going to be excited about. I don't really care that these are the next two games coming. There are other GameCube games that I wish would come. However, I am interested in trying Pikmin more because Pikmin is just
Mhm.
like a weird missing spot for me, like a blind spot where I've just never
Mhm.
really tried the franchise other than like demos. And so I would be interested in like playing a full ass fucking Pikmin game. But then there's also the remakes on Switch. So it's like, I think if I'm going to do it, I might just buy it
Did they
potentially.
remake all of them?
They've not remade all of them, but I think they remade, or actually,
Let's see.
yes, I think there is a remake of all of them, or at least a re-release of all of them. Um,
Oh
Jake
yeah,
Chichen says,
in one and two.
1 and 2, okay. And then 3 was, I think, just a Switch game, maybe. I forget. I don't know. I don't know Pikmin. Jake Twitcher says, in 2026, your only first Pikmin experience should be Pikmin 4. 1 through 4 already on Switch, Noah says. So it's like, yeah. So that's a weird one, I
Oh, that's
think, to
interesting.
bring
Yeah,
that instead of something different. But hey,
something else. Yeah,
whatever.
I will say the weird one I think is Metroid Prime 2. I'm not gonna lie, I was so surprised that they remastered the first game and uh and we didn't get a remaster of the second and the third
Yeah.
ahead of Metroid Prime 4, and now they're gonna put 2 in the GameCube. And I'm wondering how that's gonna stack up next to a remake of the first one. And how the
Well,
controls play out, not just visually.
if anything, this hopefully makes it possible that, like, so when the GameCube NSO was announced and they said Wind Waker was going to be on it, my first thought was, well, the rumored Wind Waker remake is not happening,
Gone.
or at
Yeah.
least the Wii U
Or the
remaster,
dual pack
whatever.
with Twilight Princess.
But
Yeah.
then I'm like, Nintendo just keeps doing fucking weird ass shit every time they do shit. So it's like, maybe it's not that weird for them if they're gonna do, because the Metroid Prime 2 remaster and 3 remaster have also been rumored for fucking ever. So it's like, were they rumored because common sense told us, or were they rumored because rumors were true? That I haven't figured out what is more
Yeah.
likely. But I hope that it's because rumors were true and that we get these, because yeah, I fucking want the Wind Waker one so bad. But if I have to
Yeah.
just play the GameCube version on NSO, I'll do it. I got the GameCube controller. I would rather play
But
the
you don't
Wii U
want to do
version.
that.
No.
Have you played the Wii U version?
I have played some of the Wii U version on my Steam Deck.
Okay.
I allegedly emulated it, and the emulation was not bad, allegedly. But then the rumors were really picking up at the time. I put like 15 hours into that playthrough, and I was like, but it would be so much better if I wasn't having to, like, because it's supposed to be a dual screen experience and I'm on one screen. There's this, like, I don't remember what it is because it's been years now, but there's like a button thing you would have to do. Maybe it was the back buttons to like change it from your TV view to your handheld view. And it was just like a little janky in the emulation, but it's like, but it worked. And so, but eventually I stopped, and I've not gone back in hopes that we get the real fucking one on the Switch, but
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll
No,
see.
boy.
Um,
We'll see.
Sears says, I think ports are coming, but they're saving them for the anniversary this year, perhaps? Question mark. Maybe.
Maybe. See?
Could be. We'll see. Next up on the news spotlight, State of Play has been confirmed, quote unquote, for February by trusted leaker Nate the Hate. So we'll see if Jake earlier was saying that I think it's been 6 years since he's really been like impressed by a State of Play, or 6 State of Plays rather.
Oh, 6 plays. Okay.
And so maybe lucky number 11 will be the one. We'll see.
I feel that.
Also, we got a Tamagotchi Life Living the Dream Nintendo Direct coming this Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm not a Tamagotchi Life knower, but the people that know it are so excited. And so I kind of wanted maybe get into it, but I don't know. We'll see. Do you know Tamagotchi Life at all?
I know it. I'm not intimately familiar with the series, but if
Yeah.
Nintendo's making a direct specifically for it, the audience exists.
You're not
The
intimately
audience.
familiar with a Tamagotchi, Mando?
No.
Damn.
No.
I'd get intimately familiar with a Tamagotchi or two. Final Fantasy VII Remake director has confirmed they won't be moving from Unreal 4 to 5 to avoid any delays, since they've done a ton of customizing for their own instance of Unreal Engine 4. Which to me, I was like, this, it in a way doesn't feel like a news story, but in another way, I'm like, I get why this is being reported on. But it's like, that game already looks unbelievable. And Unreal
Yeah.
4, it's like, I don't need 5 for that. Just release it
Yeah.
as soon as possible.
Please.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I saw this, I was like, please, thank you. Please don't do that. And my second thought was, can we please stop this unnecessary chase for higher graphic fidelity?
I
I think we have
know, dude.
we have reached the point where we need to be, I
Yeah.
think. And we just need to improve other things, not visual.
Correct.
graphics.
Because it's like, the more we try to make visuals better, the more we need more RAM and shit, which is now the
Well,
cost of a
that's why they
down
keep doing
payment
it,
on your
though.
house.
I would
It's why they're
say.
doing it, so they can make more money. But
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
just like, let's just be more
yeah.
artistic and more like creative with our solutions than just trying to make everything even more photorealistic in Unreal Engine
Yeah, or
5.
you can make a new console with better hardware, but build the hardware around preparing for more mechanics, you know? Like there's so many games now that are like, I mean, I think about Fable with 1,000 unique NPCs. Like how CPU bound is that game going to be? And can we focus on improving that, like that bottleneck that we're getting in gaming with
Sure.
CPUs and improved mechanics and lively worlds before we continue chasing fidelity. So that's kind
I
of where
think
I'm
it's
at.
time to just go back to motion controls, personally.
uh,
That's my
I'm not
hot
gonna
take.
lie. I'm not gonna lie. They were good in some games. Like
In
they were
some games,
actually
they were
really
great.
good in some games. It's just they weren't good for all games.
No,
Like it was a little excessive.
no, it was a little excessive. Speaking of Nintendo, though, as the main champions of fucking whatever I just said. Mario Galaxy has a new release date and
Motion
trailer.
control.
Motion controls. Like, what the fuck? How did that word delete from my brain 30 seconds later? Yeah, we got a new trailer for Mario Galaxy, and I'll tell you what, Mondo, that movie looks fucking good.
I can't fucking
I
wait.
can't fucking wait. The reveal
I
of
have the
Yoshi in
DVDs
that
too.
trailer. Oh my god! Did you like the first movie?
I did,
I
and it
really
and not
liked the
so
first
much,
movie.
not so much for like plot and all
No.
that, but like, man, was that a love letter to
Yeah.
Super Mario fans?
Yeah.
Like, and even watching this trailer, grabs the fire and it starts to like envelope them, and then it turns into the suit, and I was just like, yeah, man,
Yeah.
they get it. Like
Yeah.
Nintendo is in the room
Yeah.
with these animators, and they're like,
Yeah.
nah, man, nah, that's not good
Also,
enough. I need you to do it like this.
and I didn't see when they had like a short direct essentially just about the movie a few days ago. I didn't see that then. I just watched the trailer earlier today, and the amount of Odyssey love in that trailer. Like we got the sand world with
Yes.
the upside down
Hmm.
pyramid. We got the T-Rex. There's a lot of Odyssey in this trailer, which is like
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. But then I'm also like, this is a silly. I actually already retract my statement, but I'm going to make it because I started to make it. I'm like, you guys are going a lot of Mario really early. Like, maybe let's pump the brakes on. But it's like it's fucking a kids
This
movie.
Mario.
Like,
Yeah.
how deep is it ever going to get? Pull every reference that you already want to do. Don't let me stop you from already going to Odyssey
Yeah.
as a
I
reference.
I do want to see more Galaxy though.
Yeah,
I do want to see more Galaxy. But it is cool to see Odyssey in there, and it shows that Odyssey was one of those games, and they see it as one
yeah,
of those games
for
for
sure.
sure.
The dumpster boy in the chat says, "Thank God I made it. Thank God you're alive. Proof of life is
Yo,
always
thank
very
God.
important."
Can I say something? At the start of the episode, I was thinking of doing this, and I was like, damn, a dumpster is big shoes to fill. And I'm no dumpster, but I'm more of like, those compost bins? Those little compost bins that they have now?
Oh yeah.
I'm more of a compost bin, not so much a dumpster.
Sure. My
Yeah.
Chancletamangu, my compost bin
Yeah.
is very good. Is very good. Um, we were talking a little bit about Xbox. I should have fucking cave into the chat. I want to see Luigi's big fucking tits or LGBT. Thank you very much.
LGBT.
Thank you very much. Xbox wants to be more consistent with its PS5 release timing in the future in light of Forza not launching on PS5 day and date. Which it's one of those things where for me, I have a very privileged perspective where I have both consoles, so it's like whatever. But I do recognize that as like oh, if I only have a PlayStation, I'm sure that's a fucking bummer if I want to be able to
Hmm.
play Forza day one. So I'm glad that they're like, now that they've ripped the Band-Aid off, Halo's coming to
Hmm.
PlayStation, everything's coming to PlayStation essentially. I'm like, you know what? I'm glad that they're going to try to make that a goal to get everything everywhere all at the same time, everything everywhere all at once. In fact, because it's like, why not at this point? Like, they're just trying to recoup the tens of billions of dollars they've spent on like Activision and all these other companies. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, put the game day one at every fucking console because it's just like better for us that way. That we don't have to be out of the loop and
Listen,
shit.
I think Xbox choosing this path was our opportunity to put everybody's ass to the fire and be like, yo, can you please just put your games everywhere? Like, let us decide where we want to play our games. Um, and so cool. If they want to aim more for day and date, I'm here for it. It's gonna be on PC. It's
Yeah,
gonna be on PlayStation. I'm surprised the Xbox still hasn't announced any games for the Switch though. I will say that.
sure. Have they
Yeah,
not?
especially now because it's been like 7 months, and there's no, not since the release of Switch 2. I don't think there's been like a
Since
hey,
Switch
we're
2,
porting this
yeah.
bigger title,
Sure, sure, sure,
this
sure. No, I
recent
think you're right.
Xbox title over there. I don't think there's been. I'm just waiting for that, waiting to
Yeah,
see when that's gonna happen.
sure.
Yeah,
Noah says Forza. This is a very good point, which is like a miss now that you put it that way. Forza is a community-driven social interaction live service title. Not putting it everywhere day one is strictly poor planning. That's a very good point, especially for a
yeah,
company that is so focused now on everything as an Xbox. It does feel like maybe that was just something at Playground Games did not go according to plan, and they had to just say, for the sake of hitting a May 19th date, we can't put it on PlayStation.
yeah. And they were probably working on Forza 6 before the decision that the ultimate decision of like, hey, we're putting everything on PlayStation, and they were probably like, that sounds great, but unless you're willing to delay this another 6 months,
Sure.
it's not going there day one. And for whatever reason, they were like, yeah, fuck it, forget
Yeah.
it. I mean, they sold 5 million copies not doing it day one with Forza 5, and that was
Sure.
like a year and some change later. So who knows?
Yeah. A couple more Mario news stories, and then we are out of here. More info has been released on the Switch 2 upgrade for Mario Wonder, new boss courses for all 7 Koopalings, playable characters Rosalina and Luma, and a few other things. Are you? I forget. Are you a Mario Wonder guy?
I actually beat Mario Wonder last year. It was
Nice.
one of
What'd you
my
think?
it was one of the games I rolled credits on. I really liked it. I was like, damn, didn't know I missed 2D Mario like this. I gave it an 8 out of 10,
Nice.
and it was just fun. It was that magic of 2D Mario, trying to
Sure.
find the hidden boxes, trying to find the hidden tree beanstalks, I call them, all the way up the vines,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then the wonder mechanic of it was actually really cool. Because it would flip worlds upside down.
Sure.
It would just it would change the level up into an entirely different perspective that gave a refreshing take to like almost every single level.
Yeah.
And that was cool. That was cool.
I liked Mario Wonder fine. I was a little cold on it. Not cold. I was a little cool on it. In
Mhm.
that it was the kind of thing where as I was playing it, I think I just started to realize that I just really prefer a 3D Mario to a 2D Mario. But I still
Mhm.
like the 2D Mario games. But it's been long enough now that I've not played a 2D Mario game that I'm like, oh, we have new stuff. I can play as my baddie
Rosalina.
Rosalina. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna
Really?
jump into Wonder when that comes out again, because I could use a little 2D Mario in my life, and I
Yeah.
think I hope that I was maybe just a little unfair on that game back in 2023, and that maybe I like it more than I thought I did. Um,
If it's fair, I put it down when I first got it,
yeah,
and then I picked it back up last year.
yeah.
Yeah. See,
Uh,
it needs to feel right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. Friendship Design in the chat, welcome in, says Mario Wonder was just like 10 hours of pure fun, nothing groundbreaking, but I had a blast. I mean, I did finish it, so I did
Yep.
certainly enjoy my time enough to hit credits. And
Oh, you
now
finished it.
I did
Oh,
finish it. Yeah.
you just didn't put extra time into it and try
Right.
to get all the stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and now I'll
Okay.
get to finish it with Rosalina, which has been my dream for years. Mario Kart World got a free update adding teams to the Knockout Tour mode, so we're going to be doing that next time we do a Mario Kart World stream invitational situation, having teams in the Knockout mode. What did you think about Mario Kart World, Mondo?
I thought it was fun. I thought it was more
Yeah,
Mario Kart. I've never been a huge Mario Kart person. I mostly play Mario Kart when if I get a group of friends together, let's play some Mario Kart. We'll do
yeah,
it. But I actually really like the knockout mode, and I really like this concept of adding teams to the knockout mode. Um, just because it being teams adds a level of shit talk that is now group focus. Now it's us versus them instead of me versus all of you. I don't know. It could add a different dynamic. I actually think that the 24 people is not too chaotic. I actually think it's chaotic enough, like
enough.
just chaotic enough,
I agree.
to where it's enjoyable. And I thought like the thing I was kind of disappointed about was the open world didn't feel that great. Like just
Yeah,
roaming around the
I
open
agree.
world didn't really do anything for me. But I do like that it is a aspect of the in-between play online. Like once you finish your race, you get thrown back into the open world
Yeah,
and you kind of race around until everybody chooses their map and loads up. And in your guys' last episode, you guys were talking about like fighting game lobbies, and I thought that was like an interesting way of like maintaining a lobby
yeah.
in Mario Kart. And so yeah, it was cool. More Mario Kart. I want more maps though already.
Yeah,
That's
me
how I
too.
already
I agree.
feel.
But I do think that there could be a fun, especially like with the invitational we did last year of like, okay, we have a Dido team of 4. We have a couple chat teams of 4. We have a content mill team of 4. Like getting a
Yeah.
few different
You need to get brands.
groups.
You need to get sponsors
Yes,
to
that's exactly right. Oh
sponsor your
yeah.
own teams. Yeah.
The chat team 1 sponsored by Purple Mattress, chat team 2 sponsored by.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is my initial brainstorm vision for how the team knockout tour. And Noah's saying the teams in Knockout Tour is only for private matches, though, so you have to get in the fucking Discord to do it. That's exactly what we're going to do. So it works perfectly for us. It is a shitty design decision for the greater population, for sure. But that'll be right up our alley, so I'm very excited for that. Mando, that's all the news I have.
Do I have any news?
Do you have any news to share?
This only because the news is kind of Dido focused. Oh, the Dido just feels weird. Feels weird a little bit, but the Dido focus. Uh, Jordan is going to be on my podcast on Thursday.
That's right. That's right.
You guys want to tune in? I'm so looking forward to having Jordan on. Outside of talking about Metroid Prime 4, I'm really looking forward to having a conversation of what it's like to be a gamer dad, and especially since his kids are more like middle single kids age, a little older than mine, and I have an almost 1-year-old. And it'd be cool to have that conversation and see what our experiences were like as gamers getting into fatherhood, and where his is at now, and where mine's is still at with my daughter.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just looking forward to talking about games with Jordan.
For We Talk About Games,
is it cognitive clips?
Is We Talk About Games on your Chancletamangu channel, or is it its own channel?
It is its own YouTube.
I think.
Yeah, before, when I did it last year, last year now, it was on my own page, and then when I rebooted it, I decided to just make it its own thing. Hey, if you want, I can.
Yeah, I dropped the wrong. Oh, then no, I found it now. Okay, I sent the playlist on the Chancletamangu channel. This is the channel for We Talking About
maybe
Games.
I should delete that now.
You should probably, yeah,
or hide it,
because that was the first thing that came up on a Google search.
So, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Though.
But yeah, Mando OG Spotlight fam. So go give We Talking About Games a follow, and it's We Talking About Games everywhere, right? YouTube.
Yeah, we talk
Instagram.
About games.
Yeah, give him a follow. Yep. He's, if you couldn't tell tonight, a great podcaster, very intelligent voice about video games. So, and now our own Dido Jordan will be there on Thursday night. We talking about being gaming dads. Maybe that's what you call the episode.
Hey, you know what? That's what we'll call it.
Maybe you don't have to.
The one where we talked about being dads.
There you go. Mando, as always, thank you for being here. Well, it's been too long since you've been in these hallowed halls, and I want to bring you on Dido shortly, and then we can debate about.
Yeah, I got to drop in.
You got to drop in on Dido for sure.
Because when you announced it, I was like, I messaged you. I was like, I fucking love this name, man.
Yeah,
it just works so well. It works so well.
We've candidly, we have not done nearly enough dropping in and dropping out. With friends, other content creators, etc. But it's been a year of finding ourselves, figuring out the way things work and whatnot. So 2026 will certainly be more dropping in and dropping out among the groups. Yeah. So very, very excited. Noah says, I found my new duo tonight. You're goddamn right you did. We will be here every Tuesday night here on twitch.tv/SpotlightGamesPod. And of course, go over to dropindropoutpod.com. Although right now you might notice if you go there, it's a bit under maintenance, which maybe we have a big stream coming up where maybe the website might show some new differences. I guess you'll have to wait and find out. But Drop and Drop Out Pod everywhere as well. If you don't know somehow, Spotlight Games being part of the Drop and Drop Out network, the umbrella of shows. Mando, as always, thank you very much for being here. At some point, you know what I also want to do at some point with you? We should stream something. We should play a game together.
I'm down.
Hell yeah.
I'm down. We can talk about it. We can see what we're into, whether it's something new or something old.
We'll do that. In the meantime,
if it ain't fighting and any horror, I'm in there.
Hey, there you go. In the meantime, Shay is playing Code Vein 2, which I hear is bad. So go check in with Shay on how that game is. But we will see you next time. Make sure you tune in this weekend for Drop In, Drop Out live in person. But until then, bye-bye.